Today I want to share with you two books that I read last week plus what I'm reading right now. Two books that I read last week was this one, A Portrait of Emily Price by Catherine Rhee. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm not completely sure. This is her fourth book that I have read. She wrote one of my very favorite books, which is called Dear Mr. Knightley. I love that book, and it's a fantastic novel. If you have not read it, I would highly recommend it. But I read this book. This one, I would say, was more... I didn't get into the characters quite as much as some of her other novels, but it was a nice read, and there were some things that really caused me to stop and think, especially she talks about just kind of the hurt and pain that people who have maybe done something a long time ago that they have dealt with a lot of shame, and it's carried throughout their life, and maybe it's hidden and no one knows about it, and how much that can affect someone. So that was A Portrait of Emily Price. And then I also read A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, I believe is her last name. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. This is how to dance it out, stand in the sun, and be your own person. And this one I thought would be perfect for my year of yes. So I read this to start off my year of yes. I will say that it is not written from a Christian perspective. It has some crass language, including the F word in it a few times. So if that bothers you in a book, please know that it has some strong language in it, and it's not written from a Christian perspective. I thought that there were a lot of excess words in it, in the sense of that she could have said the same thing in a much shorter number of words, and it could have still had the same amount of impact, but it challenged me as I step into my year of yes, and so I thought it was a good read to start off my year of yes. So those were the two books that I read last week, or that I finished last week, and then I want to show you what I'm reading this week. So I told you all in my goals that I'm reading 4 books. Right now I'm trying to read in 4 different categories, so I have 4 books going at once that are in 4 different categories. So the first category is an old Christian reprint. So I'm reading Candles in the Dark. This one is by Amy Carmichael. She was a missionary. My mom started reading missionaries' stories about her when I was a very little girl, and then I started reading her writings when I was a young teen. So this book, it's just, you can see, I had a little toddler at one time who wrote in this book, but this book is just short little passages that these are from her letters. Later on in her life, she was bedridden and in a lot of pain, and so she wrote a lot of letters and prayed for a lot of people while she was bedridden, and so this is just short little excerpts from those letters, and it's really good and it's really deep. And then I'm reading A Trip Around the Sun. This is by Mark Batterson and Richard Foth, turning your everyday life into the adventure of a lifetime. And this is a book that I'm reading that's one that's spiritually encouraging, another category that I want to always be reading a book in this year. And as you can see, I'm quite a ways in, so I think I'll probably finish this one next week. I've been reading a chapter a day during my morning quiet time, and it's really, really good, really challenging my mind. I don't agree with everything in it, but really good, especially for my year of yes. Just talking about living our life as an everyday adventure, and just really going through life and looking at it as an adventure and stepping outside our comfort zone, looking for opportunities to invest in other people and to not be scared and stay in the safe zone. And then the 2 books that I'm starting, these 2 books in order to replace these other 2 books that I read this past week. And this one is one that is in the category of a book that will impact my life, a nonfiction book for life improvement, I think is the category that I called it. And this is Grace Not Perfection, Embracing Simplicity, Celebrating Joy. I think I'll probably be able to finish this book this week, just because there are a lot of pictures in it, and it doesn't look like a hard read, and it just looks like a lot of stuff probably that I've heard before, but it's just a good refresher to really go through life remembering grace, not perfection. So that is that book. And then the last book that I'm reading is The Giver. And I have not read this book before, and it's been highly, highly recommended to me. By the way, do you notice my desk has things. This is when you have a very cheap desk. Got tape on it from my daughter and has the, yes, peeled off. Anyway, so The Giver, I've not read this. She also wrote the book, I think it's called Number the Stars. I'm trying to remember. That I had read that I really, really loved, and I've heard from some people that they don't like this one as well, but then I've heard from a lot of other people that this is kind of like one of those must-read books. So it's not, as you can see, it's not like a really, doesn't look like a really intense read, and I think it would probably be a fairly quick read. I'm not sure because I haven't started it, but that will be the book that I'm reading that's a story-driven book, because I'm always trying to read one story-driven book, either a novel or a biography type of books. I'd love to hear from you. What are you reading right now? Leave a comment, let me know what you're reading, and let me know if you have any great book recommendations for me. As you know, as a reader, I'm always looking for new ideas, and I'd love to hear what you're reading and what you'd recommend. So have a great day, and I will see you later.